Alright, my name is Kenley and I'm going to start a series of tutorials, and this is my first tutorial and it's going to be on beginner freezes. And the first freeze that I am going to do is called the baby freeze. So what you do here is you put your dominant arm, which is my right arm, and what I would do is I put it in this position, stab to my side, and then I go and start leaning towards the ground. But when I also do that, I try and also have my left arm on my right knee, and then I slowly lean towards the ground. And then once you've done that, you have a baby freeze. Now, there's going to be one problem with this, and that's the way your neck is positioned. The wrong way of doing this is to have like your neck positioned like completely wrong, and it can hurt your neck and at one point. But even though it may seem easier, it's not the right way to do it, and it's doing it like this. You're relying too much on your neck, and it's gonna eventually be a bad position for your neck, and it's gonna end up hurting you in the process because you're just going to start relying too much on that position, and you're not going to be able to transition into moves very well in that position. And also, I would like to know a technique to improve that freeze, and that's using your fingertips. So what I suggest to do is that when you're learning a freeze, whether like when you're using your wrist or your hand, you don't do it flat-handed at all. You do it with your fingertips, gripping the floor. Like, here's how I want to show it. This is flat-handed, and this is gripping the floor with your fingertips. And with that, you're gonna have a lot more control and stability if you use your fingertips, and it's overall gonna help you, because if you do it flat-handed, it's gonna hurt your wrist eventually, and it's not good over time for you to like hurt your joints like that. So I recommend using your fingertips because it's easier, you have more stability and control, and it's not gonna hurt you as much as doing it flat-handed. It's the same. It's the equivalent of running flat-footed. You don't run flat-footed because it'll hurt your feet in the end. So think of it, just use your fingertips and it'll help out overall. And now I'm going to move on to the turtle freeze. And this freeze is a precursor to what I like to call the hand glide freeze, which is like this, but the turtle freeze is the same thing, but you're using two arms that are stabbed in your abdominals. So what you do here is like you stab like in your abdominals, and then you just lean forward. And here's another view from the side. You lean forward. Now, one problem that I've seen people that are first starting the turtle freeze is that when they lean forward, they lean too much forward. Like they lean this forward, like their head is on the ground. And that's okay if you want when you're first starting out. It's alright to do that. Just don't turn it into a habit, because you can use a head on the ground as a way to like getting used to the feeling. And once you get used to the feeling, try and like lift your head off the ground, like from here, and then slowly try and lift it off the ground. And then you'll be able to get the freeze and the balance for it. So this freeze isn't that difficult as well, and again, I suggest you using your fingertips to grip the floor for more control. And the next tutorial after this is the chair freeze. Now this freeze is a lot different than the ones I just taught you previously, such as the baby freeze and turtle freeze. This freeze is based on shoulder flexibility. So I'd like to suggest some shoulder stretches first, like such as this and this, this and this. And once you have the shoulder flexibility, you'll be able to do this freeze. This is how the freeze is. You're going to be stabbed on the back with your dominant arm, and then you're slowly going to lean over with your hand on the ground, and then put your right leg crossed over your left knee. Now this is dependent on which one is your dominant arm. So if you're using your left leg, your left arm, it'll be left arm stabbed on the back, and then left legs crossed over the right knee. And this move isn't as difficult as it seems, because if you had the flexibility for this move, you'll be able to get this move very quickly. Since when I first started it out, I already had the shoulder flexibility for it, and I was able to get it easily. But holding the move was the only thing that was difficult for me. So this move isn't gonna be very difficult. It's just gonna be one of those moves that you'll learn it easily because you have the flexibility for it. But if you don't, then I suggest you do those stretches and try and gain that flexibility. And that's all there is to that freeze. There's nothing you can also try it like with your legs down on the ground, as so, just to get the feel of it. So if you can't like get the one leg off the ground, then it's okay. You can just do the two-legged first and then work your way up to one-legged. And eventually you'll be able to get it with no legs on the ground, such as so. But that's going to be for a different tutorial. And as I said before, use your fingertips. Don't do this flat-handed. So, next freeze tutorial in this is going to be the shoulder freeze. And this one, you're not going to have to worry about having you're having to use your hands and grip the floor with your fingertips, because all you're doing is being on your shoulder, as so. Now, this move, when I first started out, it wasn't difficult, but I had a lot of soreness whenever I started this move. So, if you get soreness from this move, it's okay. I had it too. But eventually, it'll go away. Because when I first started doing this move, I got a lot of soreness on my shoulder. But over time, it just disappeared as I got better at it. So, the basics to this move is that you put your shoulder to the ground. You can do it however you want, such as this or this. It's going to like your preference of how you want to do this freeze. So you put your shoulder to the ground with your head on the ground as well. Lean forward with your head, and then lift your legs up and hips up, and then you just hold the freeze. You can use your other arm as an assistance. This move will help you a lot if you're trying to do things like windmills and shoulder spins, especially shoulder spins, because you need to balance for that move. And for windmills, it's gonna help a lot because you'll be able to get the feel of like rolling around your shoulder. And with that, that's it for the shoulder freeze. It's not that difficult to freeze. I consider it like one of the easiest freeze for me. But it's all dependent on who you are. Other people find the baby freeze easier. Other people find the turtle freeze easier. Other people find the chair freeze easier. It's all dependent on who you are. And the next tutorial is going to be the headstand. Now this one, it's sort of difficult. I had trouble with this because my neck wasn't developed for this, but over time I got used to it. So what I did here was, I practiced this on a soft surface such as this carpet here, and because with the soft surface I won't have that much pressure going on in my head, so I would be able to like practice it and get used to the feel. Once I got that, I just started moving on to harder surfaces so I could get more of that pressure. I just moved on up the chain so I could to develop the headstand. So what I did here when I first started out was I would lean down with my head on the ground already. But when I did this, I put my knees around the elbows of my arms, and then I just did a headstand like this. This is a beginner way of trying to get a headstand, cause with this, the pressure isn't all on your head. It's partially on your arms. But I don't recommend you like putting all of the pressure on your arms, because then you won't be able to actually get the feel of a headstand. Because when you actually start doing moves that require you being on your head, such as halos, windmills, headspins, you're gonna need to know how to like hold that pressure on your head. And with that, I don't want you. So once you move from a headstand like this, try and move like your legs up slowly and move them up till you get them like it's not like you're using your arms to balance to hold up the pressure and balance you. And it's gonna get to the point that you're gonna be putting most of your pressure on your head. And another thing that I would like to say about the headstand is that you don't need to get like a no-handed headstand balance to be able to get head spins. It's a thing that gets passed around a lot. I can't do head spins, like continuous head spins, but I've heard a lot of times that it's not needed to know how to do no-handed headstand balance, because you're gonna be having the momentum like balancing you. So it's not that you need the headstand balance to be able to do headstands. I mean head spins. It's just that you need the momentum to be able to keep you up. And with that, that's the end of my beginner freeze tutorials. So we're gonna recall that it goes from baby freeze to turtle to chair freeze to shoulder to headstand. And if you like or if you have any troubles with these moves, comment on the YouTube video and I'll get to you and post a video as well so I can see like what you're doing wrong, because it doesn't really help if I see only like the things like what you're saying, and it's not gonna really help out if you just say what problems you're having. I'd rather see what the problem is so I can fix it as quick as possible. And remember, be safe when doing these moves. Some of them can be dangerous, but not all of them are completely dangerous. If you approach this safe and smart, you'll be able to get these moves quickly and you won't get injured in the process.